asking what if is what the most creative, inventive people on the planet do almost every day. If you think about some of the most creative thinkers out there and you think, oh, how did they come up with that? How did they think of that? Well, they're constantly thinking of, well, what if we did this? What if this was possible? This is what they're doing almost every day of their lives. And we can mimic that. We can do the same here and apply it to creative thinking and advertising and concepts and branding. So there are no right or wrong versions of this question to ask yourself. That's the most important point here. Our job is not to self-censor here. As we mentioned, we need to separate the dreamer from the critic. This is complete and utter dreamer. This is the kid. The adult isn't in the room. We're a kid with a bunch of toys asking some mad questions. You know, if you ever had a kid ask mad questions at the dinner table or wherever else, that we're going to be that kid. Rather than asking why, we're asking what if. Now, the sillier, the more random or unrelated the question, it's almost the better, because it's going to take you in a new direction that consciously you just wouldn't have gone. And your rational mind will put the brakes on and go, what the hell are you talking about? So just suspend your disbelief for this moment. Just treat it as a game. It's just an exercise. We're just asking what if. Just give yourself permission if you like to be a little bit silly. Because silly and random can just lead to creative leaps that if you're doing this and other people aren't working in this way, you can probably make a hell of a lot more leaps than the next person. They're going to think, how did they come up with this? Well, all we're doing is just asking questions. Because if you ask a question of your subconscious mind, it will treat it seriously. You know, if you said, how can we invade Jupiter? On some level, it's thinking, oh, well, how can we do that? You might not come back with an answer. But if you kept asking that question, it's going to think, well, that's important. I'm going to come up with some sort of answer. And the thing is, when we do silly and random, it's likely to lead to far more entertaining and disrupting ideas for our audience. So it's going to increase levels of engagement with our message and our offer. And it's just like some of these videos that you see online, like cats versus cucumbers. Who in the world thought of that? What if we put a cucumber down and scare a cat and film it? But it's really entertaining and it's really engaging and you remember it. And we want to do the same things with our ideas, obviously for a purpose, obviously robust. It delivers in terms of return on investment. It's not just there for silliness' sake, but it just gives us that launch pad into a different idea. So let's look at the exercise. I want you to take a blank piece of paper or a blank Word document and start writing or typing what if questions. I want you to write or type anything that comes to mind that you think might be interesting. If you can, it's even better to do this exercise with a friend or with a colleague if you work as part of a creative team, because just two or more imaginations are better than one. It's just as simple as that. You're going to get more questions out, you're going to get more answers out, you're going to get more ideas out of this. But let's give you some examples. First of all, you can use these questions we're going to show you here directly. You don't even have to think of your own. Now, here are just 10 starters for 10. You can think of, countless, endless, infinite number of questions, but these will just give you a sense of what we're talking about here. So, what if it was a movie? And by it, if we say this or it, we mean the campaign or the idea. What kind of movie would our campaign be? Or what kind of movie would our product or service be? You could also ask, what kind of genre would it be if you can't think of a movie or nothing springs to mind? Is it a Western? Is it a thriller? Is it a horror? Is it a romance? What if it was a famous person? Who would it be? When you think about what you're selling, who might sum it up well in terms of a famous person, in terms of their traits, in terms of their personality, what they do, what they're famous for? And what you find is actually that could lead to a campaign idea where you're actually able to say, okay, we're going to take this person and we're going to have them be the face of our brand. What if it was an animal? What would be its attributes or traits? For instance, a rhino is tough, a bear is strong, a cheetah is fast, an eagle has really good eyesight, is sharp and can see things, an owl is wise. All these animals all have attributes and you can tie them in using some of these traits. What if we could only use images? We've already covered this, obviously, but this is another way to think of it. What if we could only use sounds? Again, we've looked at this. You can do that through copy only. What if it was a song? What would the song be? What would maybe the music genre be? Maybe this can lead to the idea of building a campaign around a single song or a number of songs. Or again, tying it into an artist if it's relevant. What if what we're selling was the key to saving the world? Again, you can think of an idea from that. Let's say it's an alien invasion and your product is the key to saving that, for instance. What if our audience's wildest dreams came true? What if our audience were monsters or aliens? It sounds a bit strange, but let's just ask the question. What if they were? Who would they be? What would they look like? Where would they live? Would they be friendly? Would they be unfriendly? Just think about that. And what if we had to sell this in just 3 words? What would those words be? Now, they don't need to be in the form of a sentence. You can just pick 3 random unrelated words out. But they may just give you, when we talk about associations, they may just give you something to spring off.